Browns have to start strong. They have a tough schedule.
It is hard to make the playoffs in the AFC without winning your division.
It's a lot of good for this team, man. The future is super bright if these guys keep developing the way they are.
Football. Let's go.
Give me Baker Mayfield and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, bro.
What?
Yep, I'm taking them.
This is Peace of Mind Sports Podcast. Presented by the Fam and the Overs Club for your best bet. Now here's your hosts, Mark, Max, and Marley.
Oh, yes. Week 1, boys. Peace of Mind Sports Podcast. Welcome back, everybody. Mark, Max, and Marley. What's up, boys?
What's going on, fellas?
You know, Week 1.
Even though we lost.
Week
Even though we
1.
lost,
Week
you know,
1.
we still lost.
We really got to touch on that. Because, your boy's out. Oh, that's a record. Just come in like a wrecking ball.
I'm not gonna lie. Spoiler alert.
We're playing in South America.
Jordan Love was my MVP pick for this season, and I'll own it. But we will get to the NFL in a little bit. Max, I could just tell on the face that it is a little disappointing, but
Man,
we're gonna make it through somehow. All right, together. This is what we do. No matter how bad our team is, no matter how good our team is, we still gonna bring it every single week. All right.
absolutely. Always, man. I mean, like you said, it's definitely sad, but I mean, Jordan Love, while as big of a player he is one player. You know, the team is still going to play. The Packers are still going to play. You know, there was a time I thought, when Aaron Rodgers left, like, what would happen? What is the Green Bay Packers going to be? You know what I mean? And I guess people had the same thought about Brett Favre whenever we had Brett Favre.
Yeah.
So like it's the Packers are going to continue to be the Packers, man. I mean, they're one of the most successful franchises in the history of the NFL for a reason. They just do things the right way.
It wouldn't be right if we didn't start the show off with college football. College football is alive and well, and there's definitely been some games already that have completely thrown out of whack, I would say, the college football season already. But I will say, maybe some of these higher teams that end up, losing a game this part of the season, I'm very interested to see how the rest of their seasons play out as far as the wider college football playoff format goes. But Max, I'll let you take over and let's talk a little college football before we get into the NFL.
Hey, absolutely. So look, it has been absolutely 2 wild weeks in college football. I mean, there has been a lot of upsets. There's been a lot of close games that probably you thought wouldn't be close. And first off, I've just got to shout out Syracuse. I stay away from Syracuse betting because they're just always so up and down.
Yeah.
But Kyle McCord.
He's playing well,
4
man.
touchdown passes against Georgia Tech, who was ranked, by the way, number 23 Georgia Tech, who had 2 really good games that beat, Florida State, and then they won the second game. But
Yeah,
Kyle McCord he's been balling last year. I mean, this game right here, you look at him, almost 70% completion percentage, 381 yards, 4 touchdown, average right at 8.3 yards per attempt. 10 yards rushing. He's not really a rusher, but he can move a little bit. But I want to give him a little shout out, man. You know what I'm saying? And, no knock to your team, Ohio State, or nothing like that. It benefited them to mutually part ways or whatever. It happens.
Sure.
It's a business now. That's what it is. I'm glad that he landed somewhere that he could still ball out because I thought he played phenomenal last year. I thought there was some spots that obviously he could have made better throws. He could have made better reads. He could have done something a little better. But that was his first year starting, right? So, like, you kind of got to give him a grace. It's kind of where I am with Garrett Nussmeier, right? Like there was some parts in the USC game, which we'll get to that way later because we're not going to focus on that. But there were some throws he could have made better, but I got to realize this is his first season starting. So, like, they're going to come with more experience. Shout out Tulane. Tulane did lose. They are 1-1 because they just lost this week, but they almost upset number 17 Kansas State. It was 34-27. They had the ball. They honestly, I think they scored a touchdown, but it got ruled offensive pass interference, which took the game away kind of from them.
Yeah, they made that a game
Another,
for sure.
another fun game, just to cover real quick, Oklahoma State and Arkansas. That game, Arkansas was winning, I think, by like 2 touchdowns at one point, or a touchdown. And then Oklahoma State just started coming back. And then that game went to 2 overtimes, and Oklahoma State won it. This one you sent me, Penn State finally pulls away to beat Bowling Green 34-27 at home.
Bro, that game. I was looking at that
34
game
points
like
up.
Bowling Green was up by multiple scores at one point in that game, I believe. And I was like, oh man, college football is so back.
Look, and this week here alone, dude, there was so many games that, like I said, was on upset alert at some point throughout the game just because of the crazy week it was. And then, I sent this one to you. I was actually watching this game when I got home yesterday. Texas absolutely thumps the team up north. I mean,
and I generously took Texas minus 4.5 with a boost to barely put it over like plus like 109 or something. I could have went the full like 6.5, 7 if I really wanted to, but I just I took it.
Do you want the stat line from NCAA cover athlete Donovan Edwards in his 2 games this season?
Oh, I got the box score right here. I'm pulling it up, but go ahead and share it with us.
Against Fresno State, 11 attempts, 27 yards. He only averaged 2.5 yards a carry, no touchdowns, and his longest rush was for 7 yards.
7 yards.
Against Texas, 8 carries, 41 yards. He averaged 5.1 yards a carry. So his average was up. So if he probably would have got more touches, maybe it would have went down. Maybe it would have stayed the same. But he was doing pretty good. And then his long was 12. But this was a man that was hyped up as a Heisman candidate this whole offseason. And he doesn't even rush for more than 50 yards in any game. He doesn't even have 100 total yards of offense. He has 1 touchdown because he caught a touchdown pass against Fresno, but he has 2 receiving yards. And
that's disgusting.
Yeah, that's like
cover athlete.
Like,
ain't that
like
something?
when you have the offense that Michigan has, their offense isn't high flying. It isn't like Texas. It isn't like Ohio State. It isn't like LSU. This is an offense that's predicated on keeping the football out of the other team's hand, right? Going for 8 to 12 play drives that take 3 to 5 minutes, maybe more, hopefully. And then you cap it off with a touchdown. So then when the other team gets the ball, your defense is fresh. They have a chance to make a play. And if they turn around and make a play, well, then boom, your offense is coming right back on the field against their gas defense, and you're just going to milk it even more on them. But when you get a hit behind and you don't have the ability to throw the ball like that, spread the offense around, put up points in a hurry, this is what's going to happen to you. And this is also just a product of the cheating scandal and losing a lot of stuff. I mean, it was very obvious Michigan cheated in some way, whether it was the true legit just to sign things or whether it was more in depth, you know what I mean? But like, you went perfect like last year, and then you almost went perfect the year before after Jim Harbaugh being on the hot seat for like 2 years for not being able to win big games. And then all of a sudden you're just beating the crap out of everybody with pretty much the same roster. But I will say they had a lot of talent. Blake Corum was very, very good. Some of those, I can't name a lot of their defensive players because I haven't really kept up with Michigan in depth.
Well, Will Johnson's still there. I think his name's Will Johnson. He's
Will Johnson.
He's still there.
I do know Will Johnson. Will
That's
Johnson,
about it,
I do know just from NCAA football. He is one of the highest ratings. And I'm not saying I don't know college football. I just, like I said, I don't follow certain teams in depth like that to where I know every single player.
Oh, I got you.
But Michigan's still a very talented team. But like you said, they lost all those players. They lost Jim Harbaugh first and foremost. They lost some other coaches as well. And then you hired, what's his name? Sherrone Moore. He's not I don't think he's going to be a bad head coach. Honestly, I think he's going to be a pretty solid head coach. But you lost those players. You're getting hit with all these, NCAA fucking notices and news and stuff.
Yeah, he's feeling all the pressure, right?
There's a lot of pressure. There's a lot of, especially you're coming off an undefeated national championship season, ranked number 10 in the country. You know how much pressure that is. But like I said, they got thumped. I think they're going to get thumped a few more times this year, but I don't think they're just going to fall off the face of the earth completely. I think they're going to stay kind of like a top 25, top 20 team, you know what I mean? And maybe even higher. They have to recruit, and they have to get that offense to where they can actually throw the ball vertically often.
Three takeaways from this game specifically. Number one, I have no sympathy for Michigan, obviously. Number two, Connor Stallions. He's off coaching some high school football, right? Well, his team lost 60-0. Thought that was pretty cool. And then number three is Texas football back. We were starting to talk about it a little bit last year. They made the college football playoff. Them too lost quite a bit of players to the draft, some key players. But I think I think Texas is setting themselves up for a pretty fantastic season.
Hey, look, I like to throw the horns down as much as anybody,
Oh,
right?
facts.
But you got to give Texas their props this year, dude. They are a really good team. Ears is a really good quarterback. He's developed a lot over the last few years, right? As coming as 5-star number one quarterback out of high school, going to Ohio State, and all the hype around that. Then he transfers back to Texas and then gets the starting job, and everyone's like, oh, how's he gonna do? And he wasn't bad, right? He showed the signs, but he wasn't like the guy. And then like last year, he got even better. And then like this year, you can see he's even made even more strides, especially in like his pre-play recognition, his reads. It's just a lot. I mean, his ball placement's a lot better too. He's not missing a lot of those throws. That one to the tight end in the end zone was beautiful. I mean, he placed that exactly right in the spot where his tight end could go up and get it, but it's not a hard one to go up and get. It was right in the middle of the soft spot of the defense. I mean, it was beautiful. Texas is going to be a problem. Ears stays healthy.
Yeah, Ears is pretty good.
Line stays healthy. Their playmakers stay healthy. They're going to be nasty. And the thing is, they could be even nastier than they can be if they didn't get hit hard at the running back position. C.J. Baxter, probably one of the most talented running backs in the country, arguably, would have showed that this year easily. Hurt for the year in offseason. Their number 2 running back, I can't even think of his name right now. He got hurt in the offseason. I mean, they just
Jonathan Brooks has gone to the NFL now. Right.
Where I'm pretty sure they even took a transfer late, way late, like 3-4 weeks before the season started. They accepted a transfer running back just because of how thin they were at that position.
Oh, okay.
But like I said, if they stay healthy, Eura stays healthy, they're gonna make the college football playoff. I think they're gonna. They're gonna have to have a showdown with these SEC teams, obviously, and we're gonna have to see if they can do it week in and week out. But so far, man, I think Texas is one of the best teams in the SEC.
Let's move on to Notre Dame and Northern Illinois. A game that I was keeping my eye on. I happened to watch a little bit of this. I was actually in transition of going over to my dad's house to play cards like we do on Saturdays. But I saw the blocked field goal around halftime, and I'm like, man, they're staying in this game way too long than they should be. So I think Northern Illinois is going to end up possibly taking this one. And I wasn't surprised to find out that Notre Dame lost. It was just worse that they were home. They played at Notre Dame Stadium. And you're talking about a team that had really high hopes and expectations this year. But again, it's another one of those teams that I tend to stay away from throughout the season because they always find a way to have one of these games, not against a team like Northern Illinois, but losing a game or two throughout the season that either keeps them out of the college football playoff or they just can't end up getting it done. So, I mean, they had their hands full all game, man.
Look, so Notre Dame.
Say it. Go ahead and say it.
Notre Dame is very
Yeah, Marley. Yeah, they paid Notre Dame $1.4 million to come up there and take their money and their pride.
Yep. Take my money and in the dub.
And like I said, they were supposed to be a team that was supposed to come out. I know he is. They were supposed to be a team that had really high expectations, potentially even be championship contenders for this year. So for them to go down, it's just part of college football, man, and you love to see it.
Man, look, after the Texas A&M game, right? Everyone thought like, oh my God, like Notre Dame, because look at their schedule, man. Honestly, like this is all Notre Dame had to do after beating Texas A&M. Now, of course, they have Louisville, Georgia Tech, and USC, right? They could still be, bad games, but when you turn to look, and everyone's like, they can just sleepwalk to the college football playoffs because this is their schedule, honestly. So they had Texas A&M.
I got it right here.
Northern Illinois, Purdue, Miami, Ohio, Louisville, Stanford, Georgia Tech, Navy, Florida State, Virginia, Army, USC.
Mm-hmm. So they could have just
Georgia
coasted
Tech-
all the way to USC, and even if they lost that game,
Georgia
they probably
Tech-
give them a bid.
Georgia Tech is probably going to give them a really good game just because of the type of football they play, but they should still win that game.
Oh,
Louisville, again, give them a good game, should win that game. USC would have been the hardest game because they look pretty solid as well. But like you, all you had to do was pretty much sleepwalk all the way to USC. Even if you lost that game, say you're at that point, 11-1, 10-1,
Sure.
9-1, something like that. You lose to them, you have 2 losses. You can still be in the top 12 if you're a top 5 ranked team because you haven't lost in 8 weeks. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's one of the benefits of the expanded playoffs is like you can afford to lose an early game and you can afford to lose a late game if you're already highly ranked and that other team is ranked as well. Because I mean, it's the top 12 team. So if you're like 5 and you lose to the number 17 by a field goal, they're not going to drop you 17 spots. You know what I mean? You're probably going to drop to like 8 or 9 or 10 or right there at 12, but you're still going to be in.
Sure.
But man, if they slip up anymore, I mean, if they slip up against Louisville,
Well, they have no
slip up
wiggle
against
room.
Georgia Tech, one more loss, even with the 12-team playoff, Notre Dame's independent. With that loss and their schedule being as terrible it is, and
It'll be
not
tough for
strong
them
at
to
all,
make a case.
it's going to be tough for them to have a really case, especially if you have other teams that's sitting right there, 10-2 or 9-3, and their strength of schedule is way higher and they have more ranked wins, right? You would say, well, they deserve to be in over Notre Dame, who lost 2 games or 3 games to this very weak schedule.
One final game that I wanted to touch on, if you had any more, feel free to before we move on to the NFL. Boise State and Oregon, 37-34. Oregon squeaks by with a last-second field goal to win the game. I snipped this out from the beginning. I didn't place the bet, but I was up there in the Overs Club kind of picking people's brains about this game. Originally, it was plus 19.5 for the Boise State cover, and I said, absolutely take this. I had a really good feeling about Boise State. I actually have a ticket where I have Boise State going to the college football playoffs this year. I kind of think that they're a pretty decent team, and I was not surprised that they kept this a close game. I ended up grabbing live plus 6.5, which was around the same odds that the 19.5 was. So I ended up grabbing one anyways and coming out strong in it with it. But this was the first time actually in history, in college football history, that Oregon has beaten Boise State. Before then, they were previously 3-0 versus Oregon.
And you want my honest opinion too? I think they should honestly be 4-0. I think they got robbed. I don't know if you could pull it up and if the podcasters could see it or not. They should be on Twitter, but if you could find it later on or whatever, I'll just show you later.
Okay.
That kick return, Noah Winningham, when he took that kick return for a 100-yard touchdown.
Oh, I saw the replay, the video going around Twitter.
He dropped the football. He 1,000% dropped the football before he crossed the goal line with the ball. That should have been a fumble. That should have been ruled a safety. Whatever. I don't know the end result.
Probably.
Touchback, whatever you want it to be.
Yeah.
But that should have been Boise State's ball while they're up 34-27.
Right, because that tied the game.
Right there.
That tied the game.
And yeah, that tied the game. And then they kept going back and forth the whole fourth quarter until obviously, Oregon kicked the game winner. But hey, Ashton Jeanty, or Janate, however you pronounce it, dog.
25 carries.
192 yards, 3 touchdowns. And look, the week before he went off as well.
That's beautiful.
I can't remember what it was. It was something stupid as well. Yeah. 20 carries, 267 yards, 6 tutties. He has 9 touchdowns in 2 games.
That is unbelievable. I have his stats pull up here. Yeah, he has 45 carries, 459 yards. He's averaging 10.2 yards per carry, 9 touchdowns, as long as 77. He also has 5 receptions and 12 yards to go with that as well. So, like I said, I was really high on Boise State this year.
How insane is that? Averaging a first down per carry. I know it's 2 games, so it's definitely going to drop as the season goes on. It may not. He may just be that special. But he's definitely going to be a guy that's going to average probably 5, 6.5 yards a carry, per touch. I mean, he's so hard to tackle, dude. He's got really good speed, not super quick like a Chris Johnson, but he's got speed, breakaway speed, but he's so strong and powerful. It's hard to tackle him.
Any other games that you wanted to cover before we moved over to the NFL?
Just a couple games that were kind of super close. Kansas got upset by Illinois, who's 2-0 now. Kansas was ranked 19th, so I'm imagining they're probably going to fall.
That's a bad beat. That's a bad beat.
Iowa State upset Iowa 20-19. So Iowa, who was ranked 21, is probably also going to drop out. Iowa State may get ranked.
I got the under in that game.
Tennessee absolutely blew the doors off of NC State 51-10. Their offense looks like they're back. Houston and Oklahoma had a dogfight of a game. Number 15 Oklahoma comes out 16-12.
Yeah, that one surprised me.
Clemson, Dabo Sweeney, doing things their way and only their way. Getting back on track, 66-20 win over App State at home. And then Northern Arizona. This was a game I was looking at this way. I fell asleep, so that I see now they pulled away. But at this point, this game was like 10-13, I think, at one point.
It was 6-10. Northern Arizona was winning at halftime.
That's what it was.
Yeah.
It was 6-10. Northern Arizona was winning, and then Arizona came back and won. But, again, another close game. We already brought up Boise State and Oregon. And then, I even bring it up real quick, Nicholls and LSU. Nicholls and LSU was a very close game at halftime. And then in the second half, Nicholls came out and scored like a 70-yard bomb the very first play and made it even more scoring than LSU. Obviously, the talent disparity and just separated themselves in the second half. But that's pretty much it, the roundup for college this week. A lot of good games, a lot of upsets.
Love it.
I think if you really look at it, I would say at this point there's only a few teams that's truly just like, yeah, we're that much better than you because they've played some better teams. Georgia, Ohio State, Texas. Those are the three teams right now you can just say, yeah, they're probably better than everyone else right now.
Love it. Thanks, Max. Appreciate the college segment of the day. Let's move over to the NFL. Got some games today.
Absolutely, dude. So ready.
Before we do that, we have to, because we did not get to do this in our segments for picking our AFC and NFC predictions. By the way, you can go look over at our Spotify. I'll pull it up here. Peace of Mind Sports Podcast. We have all of our episodes uploaded to those weekly. And you can see that we have the AFC conference predictions, NFC conference predictions, and a few others as well along the way. So we will have those uploaded weekly. All right, boys, we're gonna do offensive rookie of the year, defensive rookie of the year, offensive player of the year, defensive player of the year, coach of the year, and MVP picks. Are we ready?
Ooh, I think I am.
Let's start with offensive rookie of the year, Max.
Offensive rookie of the year, I'm going to go Jayden Daniels.
Jayden Daniels.
I think like, quarterbacks I think already kind of have like a advantage in awards anyways. Like I think MVP voting has showed us that the last few years. But I think they already do just because they have the ball in their hands primarily all the time. And then when you mix it to a, mobile quarterback like a, Michael Vick, like a Jayden Daniels, like a Lamar Jackson, like a Josh Allen, someone that can move, someone that can scramble. Heck, I'll even go back to Steve Young as well. Steve Young wasn't really known as a mobile quarterback by, I guess, people's standards that just think about, Steve Young, but he ran a lot. Like he would run the football. They had plays he'd run the football. He had a good bit of rushing yards as well. They just extend plays. I think they got a little bit of talent around him. Austin Eckler was hurt and, getting older, but I still think he's a viable back. Brian Robinson Jr., again, I think is another viable back. Terry McLaurin, Scary Terry, one of the best receivers in the NFL. I think he's super, super underrated. He just really hasn't had that quarterback in his career yet. Like some people just don't get. I still am a little surprised that they traded Dotson away. I thought that move maybe was to maybe make room for Ayuk, or maybe get more assets to trade for Ayuk, because like him and Terry would have been really great for Jayden. But it is what it is. But yeah, Jayden Daniels, offensive rookie of the year.
All right, I'm gonna take. I've really been leaning towards Jayden Daniels too. I really thought that I think he's going to be in a little bit of a better situation for the future than Caleb Williams is, but I just think of all the pieces that they did surround Caleb Williams with, and I think since he's the favorite, they're going to end up giving him a little bit of the edge, which I think is a little bit unfair. Like, I think you got to kind of give these guys not all even odds, because I know you have to have certain odds to be able to, like, for betting purposes. But I think Jayden Daniels has just as much chance as Caleb Williams does, even though Williams is the first pick. but I just like the pieces a little bit better around Caleb Williams. I think breaking it down a little bit further, I think their offensive line are just as bad as each other's teams, like Chicago and Washington. So I feel like a lot of these players between Williams and a lot of these plays between Williams and Daniels, they're going to be forced to run the ball a little bit, run around and force throws. So it's just going to come down to like who's going to stay healthy. And I just think if Chicago has a season where they win more than like 6 games, which is completely doable, I think they're just going to give it to him. Unfortunately. Marley, as far as the offensive rookie of the years, you're really down to like maybe 3 or 4 players. All right, you got Caleb Williams from Chicago, who we've talked about. Jaden Daniels, the rookie quarterback out of LSU. Another good pick, Marvin Harrison, the receiver that is on the Arizona Cardinals. As long as Kyler Murray stays healthy, he is going to get Marvin Harrison Jr. the ball.
But like Max has a point, like Jaden Daniels probably, because he's probably in the best position overall. I'm sorry, but the Bears aren't going to perform well enough overall for him to get offensive rookie there. And like if you give a guy that's only going to win 6, you're going to go what 6-11 at that point, or 6-10.
Yeah,
You're going to give him
6-11.
offensive rookie of the year. That's kind of a me.
Well, you're kind of
Daniels probably have.
It's fair for you to say you're kind of doubling back on the fact that like you picked Washington to potentially make the playoffs this year. So like if that's going to happen, Jaden Daniels is going to have to play like the offensive rookie of the year. So it totally makes sense to me.
He's going to have to and that's where I'm at. Like he's going to have to be that dude for that team, because if not, they're not going to make the playoffs. So yeah, Jaden Daniels.
Let's move over to defensive rookie of the year. Max.
Okay, so this one, I was going back and forth a little bit on this one. So there's 4 that I was really thinking of just from keeping up with, training camps, Twitter, highlighting how good they've been doing and everything like that. Dallas Turner was one of them, the, outside linebacker, edge rusher from Alabama that went to Minnesota. Of course, Javon Bullard, safety for the Packers from Georgia. And then we got Nate Wiggins, cornerback for the Baltimore Ravens. He was getting a lot of praise in camp. And then I don't want to butcher his name, Leotu Latu.
It's fine.
The edge defensive lineman from UCLA that got drafted, I'm pretty sure it was Tampa Bay, if I'm not mistaken.
Mm-hmm.
But he was nasty last year, dude. Like he was really, really good. He has really good moves. I think he's going to be a phenomenal player, from the jump. That's what I'm going with. I'm going to go with Latu. I think that's how I'm probably butchering it completely, but that's what I'm going to go with. I was really high on him coming out of the draft. Like I said, when you watched him at UCLA, he just made plays all the time. So that's what I'm going to go with.
Give me Latu as well, with Dallas Turner being a close second to keep my eye on.
I concur.
Latu across the board. All right. Offensive player of the year. Max.
So here's what
Okay, so with this one right here, I'm not going to go Christian McCaffrey, even though I think if he's healthy and obviously can play like he can play, he has a chance to go back-to-back. I'm going to go with Tyreek Hill.
Let's go, my fantasy team.
Tyreek Hill is nasty, dude. I mean, he's disgusting. He's one of the best receivers in the NFL. He's, I think him and Justin Jefferson is, 1A, 1B. Tyreek is just that dude, man. He's really good. That's what I'm going to go with my offensive player of the year. But like I said, Tua's got to stay healthy. They've got to be winning games, and Tyreek has got to be putting up, of course, insane stats, because any offensive player of the year, you've got to have insane numbers. And he had them last year. Unfortunately, Christian McCaffrey just had even more insane numbers. But Tyreek Hill, I think he's going to do it this year.
I'm going to go with CeeDee Lamb. I was kind of back and forth on this between CeeDee Lamb and, somebody like Jalen Hurts, or, like a Garrett Wilson even. But I just don't know, like, how consistently he's going to be able to get the ball. I think CeeDee Lamb's going to get the ball all year long. I don't know how well he's going to make a case for his game 1 today against my Browns, who are, who have one of the better secondaries in the NFL. So I'm very curious to see how that game plays out, which is another reason why I'm really excited about this game, to see how these matchups go. But I'm going CeeDee Lamb. He got his contract. I think he's going to come out and ball. And I don't think the training camp, him being out, is going to affect his play at all this season. I think he's like right there with the best of them as far as elite talent on the offensive side of the ball. Marley.
Now, everybody's gonna say some shit, but I'm gonna stay home with this one. Pickens. He's got 2 quarterbacks. One falls, we still got another one coming behind it. Ain't like we're like, okay, he gets hurt, Russ gets hurt. Now who we got? Mason Rudolph. No, we still got Fields, and then that gives time for Russ to get healthy. Like they're already jollying back and forth. I think we got that quarterback room and Pickens. I know he's not got a whole lot to go around him, but he does.
Well, that might
My
help his
man can
case.
my man can burn 90% of the corners in this league, and he can out jump them. So yeah, Pickens.
All right. Defensive player of the year, Max.
Micah Parsons.
Ooh. He is the
I mean,
favorite.
he's a playmaker, man. I mean, he rushed the passer, dropping zone, play the run. I mean, he can do it all. He's phenomenal. I think he's the biggest part of that Dallas defense. And I think he's going to continue to show why he's the biggest part of that defense. And I think he's going to have a defense player of the year type season.
I never had an opportunity to look this up, so correct me if I'm wrong. I don't know when the last time a player won back-to-back Defensive Player of the Year awards, but unfortunately for other teams, I think Myles Garrett has an opportunity to do even better than he did last season, and he is my pick for Defensive Player of the Year. Look, either one of these guys on this list, there's Parsons, who's the favorite. Watt and Crosby are tied for second. Tremendous players. Garrett's tied for fourth with Aiden Hutchinson. Tremendous player. Sauce Gardner, Rashawn Gary. Like, any of these guys can win, and I would not be surprised. But I'm going with my home pick, Myles Garrett.
You what?
Yeah, I know you're
TJ
going
Watt.
with. Yep, TJ Watt. Okay.
You said
Come
Myles
on,
Garrett,
bro.
Marley?
I said Myles
Nah,
Garrett.
He got slight, like, how that boy get that shit last year is what I want to know. You know what I mean? Like,
Hey, look,
bro.
I'm so glad I'm so glad you brought up Max Crosby. I love that. That man needs to get a lot more recognition than he does.
Heck
get
yeah, man.
because he's on the Raiders. He is
A dog.
nasty, dude. He is phenomenal.
He's a dog. Coach of the year, Max.
Ooh. Well, okay, so like some of these, so I already had like my list made up, for MVP and all that. Some of these I'm probably gonna have to change as I'm going now because of circumstances that's happened.
Jordan Love.
But you know what? I'm gonna stay with my original coach of the year. I'm not gonna change it too much, just because of the fact that it can still happen. Matt LaFleur. I think there was a couple seasons, when Aaron Rodgers was here, that he should have won Coach of the Year, but he didn't. And I think most of that was probably because most people were saying, "Oh, it was Aaron Rodgers. Oh, it was Devontae Adams. Oh, it's Zadarius Smith and Preston Smith and Kenny Clark and Jair Alexander, and the defense making plays here and there." No, Matt LaFleur, his scheme changed from Mike McCarthy to Matt LaFleur, just already a big difference. And then you look at his play calling. There was a lot of play calling that when Aaron Rodgers would actually run the plays called, offense looked phenomenal. When Aaron Rodgers did Aaron Rodgers, don't get me wrong, Aaron Rodgers can do that because he is Aaron Rodgers. He is a Hall of Famer. He can change plays. He can improvise. He can do all that. But sometimes he would just completely, I guess, change the play from something else because he thought he liked something else, and with throwback, sack, anything like that. But I'm going to go Matt LaFleur, man. I think especially now, Jordan Love being out, multiple weeks, if we go and, 500 or better during that stretch, and then we can get Jordan Love back and we go on a run and make the playoffs, I don't know how you wouldn't give him the coach of the year. Obviously, other coaches can as well. They got stuff they're going on truly as well. But youngest team in the NFL, without your star quarterback for 3 to 6 weeks, and you make the playoffs with a positive record, I don't see how you couldn't win Coach of the Year with that.
Yeah, because that actually puts them like kind of in the position where Kevin Stefanski was when he won Coach of the Year. His starting quarterback goes down. But what can you do to bring your team together to say, our season's not over, it's week 1. We have a lot of work to do, but we're going to find a way to do it. That's why Matt LaFleur is also my Coach of the Year pick. It was I was kind of back and forth a little bit, but he was a solid choice for me. D'Amico Ryans will win it if he builds off of last season, and the Texans find themselves between that like 3 or 4 seed again. I think D'Amico Ryans does end up possibly winning it. They might just give it to Jim Harbaugh if he makes the playoffs, honestly. But those are really the two that I had my eye on. What's up, Marley?
That I was thinking Harbaugh because he's going to come from college. Now he's going to come in the NFL, go there with the Chargers. Do all that. So yeah, my pick's Harbaugh.
And look, and that's not a bad pick because he was a very successful NFL coach. Took the 49ers to multiple NFC championships. Took a bad 49ers team in the 2000s after they were successful in the 80s and 90s. Turned a bad football team around into a good one, and they've been good ever since Harbaugh was
Took
there.
him to the Super Bowl.
And took them to a Super Bowl. So
against his brother.
Not a bad pick. Yeah, the Harbaugh Bowl. All right, boys. MVP picks. Max.
Okay. This is where I have to shudder a little bit because I had Jordan Love as my MVP pick.
He was mine
because,
too.
Like I said, last year as first year starter, he leads the league in touchdown passes. He, made phenomenal throws, phenomenal reads. I mean, he just looked like a poised veteran. And the work into this offseason with his receivers who, were a lot of them were rookies and second year players last year, and now they're second and third year players. So you're getting that camaraderie with them. You're running routes with them during the summer. You're throwing balls to them. You're getting used to everything that each other want, like where you're going to place a ball. Excuse me, my phone.
It's okay.
How you're going to place a ball on a back shoulder fade, right? Where you're going to throw that ball on a crosser route and the defender's smuggling onto you. Where you're going to throw it high, low. You're going to throw it more outside to where I have to reach more to get it away from the defender. Just little things like that, little nuances that you just have to get in rhythm with reps.
Yeah.
But he's out, right? He's hurt, MCL. I've been trying to figure out how to donate my MCL for the last 24 hours. I still have no answers. I mean, it's not impossible to say that he can't win it, if he came back and just went insane. But, I mean, missing 3 to 6 weeks, like statistically wise, just puts you in, 400 or 500 yards back in passing yards, 7, 8, maybe 10 touchdowns back in that category. So, like, stats is a big thing off, is a big part of the MVP race and MVP talks, as well as just your team success. So I'm actually going to switch my MVP pick to another young quarterback in CJ Stroud.
Mm-hmm.
I was going to go with either one of those two just to kind of like the new young gunslinger, next generation quarterbacks coming up. I really love both of them. I think they're both phenomenal quarterbacks. I think both of those teams improved around those quarterbacks to make them better and give them a better chance to lead them to a playoff or lead them to a winning season. So, yeah, give me C.J. Stroud, Tank Dell, Nico Collins, Stephon Diggs.
Beautiful.
They're going to have a good season.
I'm curious how he follows up his second season. So I was really high on C.J. Stroud as well. But, Marley, I'm actually going to go ahead and let you take your MVP pick here.
I got a coin flip between Stroud and Tua. So,
ooh.
Heads Tua, tails Stroud. I have both of these guys on my fantasy team. I have Stroud starting and I have Tua on the bench.
Let's go.
So here we go.
Me as well.
It's tails. So we got CJ Stroud going in for MVP, baby. Let's go. First coin flip ever on the Pizza Mind Sports podcast. Put that quarter right there from 1994.
We praise on this show yearly that a lot of these types of awards, we know who we're just going to go and give it to. And that just brings up a player like Patrick Mahomes, who can do anything without Tyreek Hill now that he has his, Xavier Worthy. I feel like the pressure's off of Mahomes because he can just distribute the ball anywhere around the field, and his players are just going to do all the work for him. So I could easily say Patrick Mahomes. Jordan Love was my pick too. I'm going to stay with that. I'll eat that one if he ends up not being, so be it. Injuries do happen, unfortunately. But I'm going to make a case here, and it might make both of you jump out of your seat on this one. But I'm going to go ahead and back up the fact that when I said that Myles Garrett has a chance to repeat as Defensive Player of the Year, I think he has a real opportunity to show the league that he could play MVP type level football this season. So I'm going to take
God.
Myles Garrett to win MVP.
Seriously?
If I'm not mistaken, the last defensive player to win MVP was J.J. Watt, right?
I believe so.
Probably.
It was probably the year when he had like
2000.
6 touchdowns against the Browns.
2013, I think.
He
Let me
said
look this
6
up.
Oh man. I mean, yeah.
Oh, J.J. Watt didn't win MVP. I thought he did. No, I forgot Aaron Rodgers won it over him in 14.
Okay. Yeah.
So the last defensive player to win MVP.
While you're looking that up, I think it's gonna take a lot for something like that to happen. If a quarterback throws for like 4,300 yards or more, he's probably gonna get it. But I'm just trying to make a strong case that it's a possibility, man. I could even say the same thing for TJ Watt. You know, I could definitely make
Yeah.
a case that both of these players could play MVP. Because look,
Okay.
go ahead.
So I thought it was J.J. Watt. I forgot it was Aaron Rodgers. I can't believe I didn't freaking remember that. But that was the year J.J. Watt went crazy and was like playing tight end in the red zone, also catching interceptions from the defensive line. Yeah, I ain't gonna lie. Aaron Rodgers had a really good season, but like I would not have been mad if J.J. Watt won it just because it was a phenomenal season. But Lawrence Taylor was the last defensive player to
LT.
win MVP, and that was in 1986. Before that, Alan Payton was the last player to win it, and he got it in 1971.
Wow. How about that?
So since
How about that?
1970, we've only had 2 defensive players win the MVP.
Wow.
Did we want to do comeback player of the year? I feel like we do it every year. I didn't really add that in there, but I kind of made a side note in case we wanted to. Other than that, we can move on to our game picks.
Game pick, baby. Let's go.
All right. We can move on.
There ain't no comeback. Everybody's coming back healthy. Bullshit.
All right. So for our game picks, boys, we have some new things that we've brushed over previously on episodes that we wanted to discuss about. We're going to do our survivor pick for this year, all right? And I'll keep track of all this for us. We are going to pick a team instead of our lock of the week. We are going to pick a team that we think is going to win on the money line straight up every week. We can't pick the same team twice. I rule that if there's a funny situation where we didn't really discuss about, rules, because funny shit happens in the NFL, that we will talk about it as a community and decide from there what we would like to do. I can say if the team ties at the end that it does not count towards your survivor, but you don't get to pick that team again. Do we agree with that? Does that sound good? Okay.
So, just to clarify once again, once you pick a team, you cannot pick that team rest of the season.
Correct.
Nope.
Last one standing wins. Prize yet to be determined later. All right, boys. In the history of Peace of Mind Sports Podcasts, Marley, you are 261 and 202. Remember, a lot of these numbers are skewed because they're at one point. Marley was a regular guest at the time. He didn't always make picks. Okay, we also don't pick our own games, and we had like the COVID year where like a lot of shit was just happening. So we don't have like an exact amount of games from that time. But these are just the ones that we've all kept track of. All right. Number 2, Max, you are at 476 and 269. It's pretty good.
Pretty damn good.
And I am in the lead at number 1 with 478 wins and 275 losses. Max, you were only 2 games out of the win column behind me. So we've had ourselves quite the years. I also have, as this is our 4th season, our all-time week 1 records. And it was important that I wanted to pick this because I wanted to see what kind of start we have every season. So I'll give those. Starting back in 2020, when we started this.
Oh my god.
I went 11-5. Max went 9-7. Marley, you did not pick week 1 of that season, right? But the following year, I went 6-8. Max went 6-8. Marley went 5-9. That was the
I
year that
remember
we came out just
2021.
we came out just completely just fumbling everything. All right. And then last season, I went 10-5. Max went 11-4. Marley went 7-7.
Let's go, baby.
That's a very good week.
All right. Starting with the Thursday night. Go ahead, Marley. If you had something to add there before we got into it, go for it.
Hey, 500, baby. 500.
Well, we're off to an interesting start here as the Thursday night game kicked off the season. The Ravens at the Chiefs. Chiefs were favored 2.5 points. They ended up covering and winning 27-20. Marley took the Chiefs. Max and I both took the Ratbirds.
Man,
You'll never see me pick a division team unless I have to, bro.
that's tough, dude.
It was a
Like,
game.
It was a game, man. I mean, like you said, it's Patrick Mahomes versus Lamar Jackson. Any pick I think would have been like, okay, yeah, I can see why you would take them.
And then Friday night brought us our NFL game in Brazil. Max's Green Bay Packers took on I almost said travel to, but took on the Philadelphia Eagles. Eagles were favored -1.5. They ended up covering and winning 34-29. Marley and I both took your Green Bay Packers. And that
Damn it.
sucks because their offense was playing well enough to win this game. They were playing well enough to win this game. What, Marley?
What time in the game did Jordan Love get injured?
Max, do you know?
Jordan Love got injured in the fourth quarter.
So they get a very well at a comeback.
Game was pretty much over at that point. It didn't affect it in terms of the outcome. It was a really good game. Eagles we just could not stop Saquon Barkley for our lives. AJ Brown had a really, really good game. The defense wasn't up to code, but I mean, again, the players didn't want to be there. Nobody wanted to be there. The field conditions were horrible. The fans were pretty much non-existent. I mean, it was an all-around bad football game, I'd say, from just a perspective of wanting a clean game and wanting to watch a good product. But, it is what it is. Eagles beat us. They're a very good team. I mean, they've been a phenomenal team for a while. So, I mean, it's not like I can say, oh, my God, we're terrible. I mean, it was 34-29. You know what I mean? We put up numbers. Our offense put up numbers. The defense, unfortunately, just folded to a really, really good offense. Jordan Love being hurt definitely sucks. 1,000%. Like I said, any quarterback really is like the lifeblood of your team, right? But like he really is for us because we have a lot of young players around him to where they're not like it's not like Justin Jefferson, right? To where you can bring a young quarterback in and Justin Jefferson can, make some of those bad catches, make some of those catches on bad throws, just get himself open to where you just got to throw it in his air and he's going to get it. I'm not saying Jaden Reed, Christian Watson, and all of them can't do that. But it's not like they're on that level to where it just is that easy for them.
Right. It was a little bit of Jordan Love making them who they were, plus a lot of them making who Jordan Love was. So it was kind of like
absolutely.
A little bit of
it was
push
a
and pull.
growing together thing, right?
Yeah.
It was a bunch of young players learning how to play the game together and what they was best at. But when you look at our schedule, man, I'm like I said, I'm not overly concerned. Obviously, we want Jordan out there, but like. We got the Colts at home, then we go on the road to Tennessee, then we got Minnesota at home, then we go on the road to the Rams, and then we got Arizona and Houston. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. As of now, that's like the timeline, 3 to 6 weeks. So from now till Houston on October 20th, that could be when he's out.
Yep.
Indianapolis, what is their identity? That can be a W if Malik Willis can be okay. Tennessee, again, Will Levis, Tony Pollard, Calvin Ridley. New coach, that's a very winnable game. I think still overall our team is better. Minnesota, I think our team is better. The Rams, that's going to be a tough game just because of Sean McVay, Matthew Stafford, Puka, and Cooper Kupp. But that's still a winnable game. Arizona, gonna probably have a good offense. You know, Kyler Murray, Marvin Harrison Jr., very winnable game. Houston,
We'll
that's
see.
probably gonna be
Right.
a loss. I mean, we're just gonna have to see about how we're playing, but we still have I still expect us to go 500 or better in this stretch without Jordan Love because I just believe in our team. I believe
Well
in the
said.
defensive players we've got. I know
Well
they
said.
gave up 34, but that's week 1 in arcadey type game in another country. I want to see them week to week on a normal routine and a normal NFL schedule and see what they can do because they looked better in my opinion. They look more aggressive. Um, I'm more of an aggressive style person when it comes to defense. Our last few defenses have been very very soft in terms of how they play, but I'm just looking forward to consistency from the defense. And then in terms of offense, obviously we wanted to see Jordan Love take that next step. We wanted to see the receivers take that next step. We wanted to see Josh Jacobs, who they signed, be the Josh Jacobs on the Raiders a few years back that was just unstoppable. But now with Jordan Love off, you're gonna have to fix stuff, right? Matt LaFleur is gonna have to improvise. Now you have Malik Willis. What is his strengths? He's not really a good passer, but he is a really good runner. You have Josh Jacobs. You have Malik Willis. You have a pretty solid offensive line. You've got some good tight ends. Do a lot of RPOs. Do some read options. Do some design quarterback runs. You're gonna have to get very very creative now because you're gonna have to probably lean on the running game and Josh Jacobs. So I'm ready to see what Matt LaFleur is going to do. This is where he makes his coach of the year mark right here. This is where he makes his money. You want to prove you are one of the best coaches in the NFL. You want to prove you're one of the best offensive minds in the NFL, and that you wasn't just riding the coattails of Aaron Rodgers at the end of his time in Green Bay. This is where you do it, Matt LaFleur. Let me see your game plan against Indianapolis, Tennessee, Minnesota, and the Rams without Jordan Love, and let me see the offense put up 25 or more points.
And quickly before we move on, I think them having the Friday game, I think this gives them like an extra day or two to prepare for what's to come. And you completely nailed it. Looking forward to still seeing what the Packers do the next few weeks, and we will obviously recap that and be there with you along for the ride. 1 o'clock games. Let's get into it. Marley, I'm going to start with your game on Fox. The Steelers travel to the Falcons for the first matchup of the season. Falcons favored 3.5 points. The over-under is 41.5. Let's talk about it, Marley. What you think? I know you're not making your pick, but I want to hear where you at.
Because I've been hearing it was Fields, and now I'm seeing it's Wilson. So who's under center?
That's very good. Very good question.
Because when I looked it up on Fox, it said Russell Wilson was starting today. So I'm like, I thought he was out with a calf. But this is indoors on AstroTurf. I don't like that shit. I'm not feeling real good about this whole. I don't like playing in Atlanta. I just don't like that stadium. I have bad vibes about it. It's going to be a good game. I'm curious to see how our defense plays against Kirk Cousins today. I'm curious to see what he's got this year in another system, not being with the Vikings. Can he really do something down in Atlanta?
Mm-hmm.
But all around, I think that should be a good game. Go Steelers, baby.
Max.
Yeah, I think this is going to be a very good game as well. This was one of the harder games I picked. This was one that I kind of scratched off and came back to later on. I circled back to it once I had, more time to think about it, more time to break it down. The quarterback thing is definitely throwing me off with the Steelers. I'm with you, Marley, that at one point Russell Wilson was hurt and it was going to be Justin Fields, and then turned out that Russell Wilson was supposed to be starting this week. I don't know either. I haven't really checked Twitter. I haven't seen Adam Schefter and other tweets yet. I haven't really got the injury reports, which I need to probably be looking at.
When I looked up us this morning, I've seen when I pulled up the game on Fox, it said Russell Wilson is starting quarterback. I'm like, okay, I thought he was hurt. So, but I guess not. I don't know.
Well, we'll have to see. But I am. Are we making our picks right here?
Yeah, go ahead. I was reading. I didn't see that ink posted in the chat. It said Max is alive, and I said, yeah, Max is alive. What's up, Ink? Let's go, baby.
I'm gonna go with the Falcons. And the reason I'm gonna take the Falcons here is they're at home. There's nothing personal, Marley. Nothing personal. Look, the Falcons are at home, right? We don't know what the situation is with the Steelers at quarterback. We don't know what what their identity is going to be on offense. We think it's going to be running the football, but then again, like I said, you've got really good receivers as well, some pretty good playmakers. I just think where Kirk Cousins, he's got Bijan Robinson, he's got Kyle Pitts, he's got Drake London, he's got really good receivers around him who have not had a really good quarterback and still showed signs of being really good.
Hey, isn't Kyle Pitts hurt?
I'm ready to
Oh
see.
my gosh, fuck Kyle Pitts, bro. Just fuck him all. Did you draft him this year, Marley? Did you draft him this year?
Why would I draft Kyle Pitts?
Okay, all right, good. I didn't see if you.
I'm ready to see.
I drafted Travis Kelsey, and I drafted
my
drafted
God.
fucking.
All right, go ahead, Max. Sorry.
I'm ready to see the Falcons offense with Kirk Cousins because, like I said, Bijan Robinson's phenomenal. Kyle Pitts, whatever he is, we don't know. I guess we'll find out this year. Drake London has shown signs for sure.
Sure.
But the defense, there's some questions on the defense for the Falcons, so we're going to have to see about that. The Steelers, like I said, the main question is, of course, the offense. I have no questions about the defense. The defense is going to be the Steelers' defense. They're going to be tough. They're going to be hard to run on. They're going to be hard to throw on. They're going to make plays. They're going to get aggressive. They're going to wreak havoc. But can their offense be up to par? I mean, how many tidbits did I have last year? How many shows did I come on here and it was a new tidbit about how terrible the Steelers' offense was?
A lot.
Like, it was insane how awful it was and how many games they were winning because of their defense. And if their defense allowed more than 20 points, they'd never won. I mean, it's just insane to think about that much pressure is on that defense. So that's why I'm going to say the Falcons here. I feel like there's more pressure on the Steelers than the Falcons because Falcons ain't really been too good the last few years. They've been pretty bad. Kirk Cousins is coming off an injury, so people are going to be like, yeah, he needs some time to adjust, right? New coaching staff. But when you look at the Steelers, it's like, okay, Mike Tomlin's still there. He's never been 500 in his career. The defense, they still got T.J. Watt. They still got Hayward. They've still got, excuse me, they still got Minka Fitzpatrick. That defense is littered with stars. It's littered with playmakers. The offense, what can they do? Can the Arthur Smith replace Matt Canada and actually get a creative offense to where the Steelers can win games? I mean, let's be real. Win games. How many games they lost just because of their offense last year?
Yeah.
So Falcons. Give me the Falcons. I don't think they cover.
Hey,
I think it's 3.
Marley took Pickens to win Offensive Player of the Year, so you might be on to something there if you want to throw a little pizza money on that. All right. Listen, the Steelers are 15-2-1 all time against the Atlanta Falcons. So Marley, I don't know what the heck you're worried about this stadium, bro. Like, all right, I know the Falcons switched a whole bunch of things around.
That's splitting it up. Man, I just hate AstroTurf, bro. I hate it.
Mm-hmm. Well,
get your ass to grass field and call it a day. Okay.
Max is making me sweat.
Georgia. Don't tell me you can't grow grass.
Max is making me sweat a little bit with this just because of all the facts that he just spit in my face right now, just spitting all that knowledge to me. But look, let me tell you that I think the Steelers are going to win today. I actually have a single bet where I bet the Steelers will win this game at plus money. Give me the Steelers on the road to open the season. Arthur Smith is the offensive coordinator now in the Steelers for the Steelers, and I think he's going to have these guys ready to go no matter who's at quarterback. I mean, they might go 1-16 or whatever the hell, but I think the Steelers are going to win this game today.
Breaking news. Dak Prescott and the Cowboys agreed to a 4-year extension worth $240 million, making him the highest paid player in NFL history.
What has that guy done? 2-5 in the playoffs, all right? 2-5 in the playoffs. And you guys ragging me all day long about this contract with Deshaun Watson. Look at what these other guys are doing. Joe Burrow got the bag. He ain't sniffed the freaking game in like a year, all right? Like, holy shit, bro. What a country. What a country.
He took the Bengals to the Super Bowl, bro. Don't give him. I mean, I can't stand it, but, you get mad at Joe Burrow weekly.
Cardinals travel to Buffalo to take on the Bills. Bills favored -6.5 over under 47.5. And boys, I'm going to go ahead and say it right here. This is my survivor pick. The Buffalo Bills to beat the Arizona Cardinals.
Oh.
Max.
Yeah, I'm going to flip-flop you. And I'm going to take the Cardinals to beat the Bills, and that's going to be my survivor pick because I was already thinking the Cardinals this week. So, yeah. Because the Bills ain't doing shit this year.
Wait. Well, hold on. Smitty just came in with some breaking news. Hang on. Breaking news, Tyreek Hill got detained. What?
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 Are you kidding
What?
me? Oh, I'm actually literally afraid to pull up my Twitter live on stream, so I'm just gonna Google it real quick.
Yeah, hold on. Let me
What?
look see because I have Tyreek Hill
What?
in fantasy.
What?
Me
What do
too.
you think he's at the airport? Oh shit! How is he? He's with the team, bro.
Oh yeah. Also, breaking news: Justin Fields is starting at quarterback today.
And Jamar Chase is active.
No. Did Tyreek Hill get arrested or what?
Yep. Yeah, he
he's
did. Right
arrested.
outside the stadium.
For what?
I just sent a video in the group chat.
Yep, I see it right here. Not good. Not good, boys.
Oh my!
Okay.
Oh my!
Wait, and did I just hear you're taking the
Oh,
fucking the Cardinals as your survivor pick? Man, I wish we had some money on this shit, bro. Like dead ass. I don't think you'd be picking the Cardinals if you had $1 million sitting in front of you ready to give up. You would dead ass pick the Cardinals?
To beat the Bills
Yeah, bro.
in Buffalo, right?
Yes.
I don't give a shit.
Generational Josh Allen hater.
I mean, I am too,
No,
but damn,
I'm
son. Like,
sick of it. I'm sick of it. I'm sick of it, bro. And I hate the damn Cardinals. I like, yo, what's a I can't stand Kyler Murray's ass with his Call of Duty bullshit. All right, but you know what? I'm sick of the Josh Allen pipeline over here, okay? Pipeline and Josh Allen. Like, I can't stand it. The Bills Mafia. Y'all are annoying, okay? He's a turnover machine. The Cardinals defense is going to come out today. They're going to go to Buffalo. They're going to say, you know what? We don't want your spicy wings. Get the hell out of here.
Max.
Okay, look, I love it, Marley. I love it. All right, somebody's
Holy
got to say
shit.
it. You did it. But
Lock
I
that
think-
man out from ever
think
betting on
today-
fucking FanDuel for the rest of his life.
I think today is going to start the process of Kyler Murray transitioning into Call of Duty season. The Bills, while they lost some stuff, the Bills are still a very good team. They still have a very good defense. They're at home. That place is going to be rocking like it normally is. There's going to be 7 people slammed through a table. There's already probably been 12 people put through a table, and it's not even 12 yet. Or it probably is there. Well, no, not even 12 yet in the East Coast. The Bills are going to be rocking all day. They've been drunk since 7 this morning, okay?
Mhm.
They've been ready to go for this game. It didn't matter. It could be 17 foot of snow, and they're going to be out there shoveling it while they're chugging beers, all right? That's just what they do. I mean, it's whatever it is. The Cardinals, what are they? Kyler Murray, he's a solid quarterback, but he can't stay healthy. Marvin Harrison Jr. is like really the only true legit receiver they got. He's probably going to get doubled. Trey McBride, he's a really good tight end. I'm not going to say he's not a good weapon as well. James Conner is still there. He's a pretty good running back for them. He wasn't bad, but what else do they got? I mean,
That's it. James
That's
Conner,
it.
a little bit.
the Bills' defense is better than their Arizona's defense. The Bills' offense, I think, even without Stephon Diggs, is probably going to be better than the Cardinals just because of they have better pieces as a whole. I just don't see the Cardinals traveling from Arizona all the way to Buffalo with an disadvantage at majority of the team and winning this game. I think the Bills cover. I think they cover by a lot. I think they cover by 2 touchdowns.
I don't give a shit.
Titans
shit.
at Bears. Bears favored -4, over under 44.5. Marley.
I hate to say this, I'm going to have to take the Bears because, like, the Titans, we got to see what they're up to here this year. They don't have Derrick Henry. So I just want to see what they got.
Give me the Bears as well with that
Yeah.
defense. I think this game's going to be a low scoring fought match, but I'm going to go with the Bears. Max.
Man.
He don't wanna do it. He don't want to do it, but he's gonna. See, I can read you now, bro. I see you. I see your beautiful fucking smile on screen. I could read you, bro.
As much as it pains me to do,
I know it.
as it pains me to do, I'm also going to take the Bears. And
I gave you a round of applause. That it?
They're
Taking the Bears?
they're better. And that's
They're better.
I'm gonna leave it at that.
Patriots travel to Cincinnati to take on Maddie's Bengals. Bengals favored 7.5 points. Like I just said, Jamar Chase is active for this game. Over under 40.5. I really love the under in this game. Marley.
I'm gonna take the Bengals. I'm gonna
Hey,
take the Bengals and Max, take it away.
Hey, one second. Give me 2 seconds.
All right, while you're doing that, I'll make my picks. So the Bengals were potentially one of my survivor picks for this year. T. Higgins has been dealing with an injury. We didn't even think that Jamar Chase was going to end up playing in this game. He didn't practice all week. I know it's not going to really matter because he's a dog. Joe Burrow's still a little banged up too, and I think the Patriots defense is going to give him a little bit of run for his money. But the Patriots are absolutely terrible. I think the Patriots are going to be one of the first. One of the first top 2-3 picks in the draft this year. But give me them boys. Give me the Bayou Kentucky Bengals. I was with you when you bought those. You bought those at the Hall of Fame in Canton.
Yep.
Canton,
I
Ohio.
got these two, and I got Justin Jefferson, and I got Jordan Love as well.
Everybody, before Max starts talking, like nail your drapes down. Anything that's loose, just hang on to it because the suction you're about to hear is about to come through your screens. Max, take it away, sir.
No, look, okay, so it's not going to be that crazy, right? This is going to be my survivor pick of the week. I'm picking the Bengals to win this game.
All right.
They got to be healthy. Joe Burrow's got to be healthy again, and he's got to take that next step. Honestly, like Joe Burrow, Joe Shiesty, all this stuff about everything, blah 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 blah. He's got to be better. Not once has he led the league in touchdown passes. Not yet has he led the league in passing yards. Not yet has he led his team to a very phenomenal season. Not get me wrong, he led them to the Super Bowl. That's a phenomenal season. But I mean in terms of a regular season being dominant throughout the entire season. He hasn't done that yet. Mahomes has done that. Brady has done that. Rodgers has done that. Lamar has done that. There's Jordan Love has done that now. He's led the league in touchdown passes his first year, and look at the receivers he has, and look at the receivers Joe Burrow has. How do you have Jamar Chase, T. Higgins, Tyler Boyd, whenever he was still there? How do you have all these weapons, and you've never once led the league in a statistical category? You're a very good quarterback, Joe Burrow. He is. I'm not saying he isn't. I love Joe Burrow. Obviously, y'all know I have his freaking rookie card. He went to LSU. I mean, it is what it is, but he's got to be better. He's got to perform up to that contract. He's got to be that guy. He's got to throw 300, yards a game, 3-4 touchdowns. I mean, he's got to be phenomenal. Jamar Chase, I know he's finally showing up again. I know he wants his money. He deserves his money. I'm not saying he doesn't. But if you get that money, Jamar Chase, you're going to have to show up. You're going to have to put up 1,600-yard season, double-digit touchdown season. You're going to have to be the guy on 3rd and 4, 3rd and 7 that gets open and makes that catch in double coverage or on the sideline or in a tight window, just like Joe's going to have to make that throw. I just think they're the better team than the Patriots. So that's obviously the most easiest reason why I'm taking them. The Patriots are brand new coaching staff with a coach that's never been a coordinator before. I think Jared Mayo can be a good coach, but we're going to have to see. Quarterback Jacoby Brissett shows us we know what he is, right? He's a solid quarterback that's going to play football. Drake May, he's behind him. What is Drake May going to be really good? He showed signs in preseason, but nothing crazy. Kind of like Trevor Lawrence, right? Trevor Lawrence came out and everyone was hyping him up as the next Peyton Manning, and then he just everyone had to get back to earth because most times rookies not phenomenal right off the gate. Patrick Mahomes, Jordan Love, these guys are not the excuse me. They're not the standard, right? They're a different breed. But I think the Patriots defense is still probably going to be pretty solid. The offense is that's probably going to be
Ramondre Stevenson. That's about it, right?
I see it kind of like the Steelers last year, right? To where the defense is good enough to win you some games and keep you in games, but then your offense just can't do anything. Can barely even move it across the 50-yard line. But give me the Bengals to cover. Like I said, this is my survival pick of the week. I think we're going to see Joe Burrow have a big game. I think we're going to see Jamar have a big game. I think we're going to see their defense have a big game as well. So give me the Bengals survivor pick of the week.
I really love the under in this game. It's at 40.5. Texans favorite 3 points on the road against their one of the few games that actually starts off with the divisional opponent. They're taking on the Colts, over under 48.5. I'm taking the Titans. This was originally my survivor pick, but I've preached on this show multiple times, if you guys know, that this division plays each other just as tough as, almost as tough as the AFC North. These guys just trade games throughout the season with each other. And I would not be surprised if the Colts win this game, but I'm taking the Texans, and I also have a single bet with a boost to put it at plus money for the Texans to win this game today. Marley.
We're gonna go with the Texans. I got CJ Stroud starting at quarterback in fantasy.
Me too. Let's
My
go.
MVP
And I have Nico Collins. Let's ride.
Let's go.
Max.
Yeah, I'm also going to take the Texans here. I think this is going to be a big year for them. I think this is a year that they're going to walk away in the NFC South. CJ Stroud's going to come out and show again why he's one of the better young quarterbacks in the NFL. D'Amico Ryans is going to have that defense playing aggressive and getting to the football. Phenomenal coach. I think the fit was phenomenal. I think the hire was phenomenal. I think he's a fantastic coach. The offensive coordinator, dude, he needs to get some love as well, because when he got hired, he was never a head coach. He was never an offensive coordinator. He was never anything. He never called plays before at any level, not high school or college, much less the NFL.
Right.
And you see what he did with CJ Stroud. I mean, his rookie quarterback with a first-time play caller, and they have that type of season. I think the future is very bright, man. I think it's very bright for the Texans. They've got core pieces in place. You've got CJ Stroud. You've got Tank Dell. Nico Collins is a good young up-and-coming receiver. You've got that true proven veteran now in Stephon Diggs who can go out and get you stuff. You've got a proven everyday running back now in Joe Mixon, while also having the running backs behind them. The offensive line is getting better.
Mm-hmm.
The defense has just shifted tremendously. I think the Texans have always kind of been more defense-oriented. Think back to Brian Cushing and J.J. Watt being there.
Right.
But it's like
and
the last
D'Amico
few
Ryans.
years was like, and then like when D'Amico Ryans got there, which he was a 49ers defense coordinator, it just completely turned. He got Will Anderson, he got Derek Stingley Jr. Some of the other players, Jalen Petrie, and some of the other guys that was there started playing better and started playing better. Started playing better technique. And that was one of the things too. It was technique. It wasn't always just the fact that the players were bad. It's just sometimes the coach is not putting them in the best position to succeed. But give me the Texans.
Jaguars at Dolphins. Dolphins favorite 3.5 points, over under 48.5. We know this news recently that came out about Tyreek Hill. I think it affects the game tremendously, but I just don't know. I don't know if the Jaguars have enough to beat the Dolphins. I'm going to take the Dolphins here reluctantly. It's just one of those games where now we don't really have a lot of time to
What's the update on Hill?
I don't know. If he's being detained, he's not going to play in this game. It's already almost noon. They got a game in an hour. Also, a little bit of a tidbit that I didn't know: the Jaguars lead the all-time series 6-5. These teams are in the same state. They don't play each other often, so they tend to split.
Per Adam Scheffner, he was detained while entering the stadium today for a driving violation per his agent, but Hill will play today.
All right.
Yeah, so give me the Dolphins. Give me the Dolphins. That was just a minor incident. It's just are they at home?
Yeah.
Yes.
The Texans are going to be cooked, or the
on the side of the road.
The Jaguars are going to be sitting in that sun all day long. It's probably 98 degrees there. They're going to be frying. Jaguars are a good team, though. I'll give them that. This should be a game.
Well, I mean, the Jaguars are
I think this is actually going to be a phenomenal game. The over 49.5, I think I'd take that.
48.5,
both these teams
yes.
have offenses that's very capable of putting up, 25, 30 points each. I am going to take the Dolphins, though, just because I think the Dolphins are better. I think Tua is better than T-Law. I think, the Dolphins receiving core is better than the Jaguars receiving core, but I think the Jaguars receiving core is still really good. But I think the Dolphins just have more talent on defense than the Jaguars do, veteran talent at that. So that's why I'm going to take the Dolphins here. But look, one thing I will mention this game. Watch out for Brian Thomas Jr. You have all the other receivers that the Jaguars have. Jalen Ramsey is going to be covering one. The other guy's going to be covering the other one. There's going to be a lot of focus on those two guys. Watch out for Brian Thomas Jr. I think he can quietly have a game today.
I'm gonna have to look at before we end the show. I'll pull up to see if he has any numbers that we can possibly look into to bet on. Panthers at Saints. A couple more 1:00 games. Let's keep it rolling. Panthers at Saints. Saints favored 4 over under 41.5. The Saints were one of the teams that I went back and forth on for my survivor pick this week. I just couldn't put all my money into Dennis Allen. They have some good pieces around them though, but let's see how this game goes. Marley, Saints, Panthers.
Toilet bowl game of the week.
Yeah, just about. Well, now we got some more coming, but it's close. This gives it a run for its money. And actually, the Saints finished in second last year. You got to remember, the Saints finished ahead of the Falcons last year too.
Completely different team, though.
I know. Go ahead, Marley.
I don't want to hear this. It's still two shitty ass teams, okay? So, but I'm gonna go with the shittier or the non-shittier and the two shittier, and it's the Saints. Yeah.
Give me the Saints.
Horrible game.
Next.
Yeah, I'm definitely also going to take the Saints, especially in New Orleans at the Dome. It's just a very, very hard place for any team to go play.
Sure.
This game and the next one we're probably going to talk about. These are definitely the nobody wants to watch games of the week. Not even their own fan bases. Yeah, these are the games that not even their own fan bases want to watch. But give me the Saints here in an ugly one. I think I'd take the under in this as well. Both offenses I don't believe in.
Vikings favored 1.5 points, travel to the Giants to take on the Giants. 41.5 is the over under. Marley, you got to pick this game, and I know you don't want to.
Why am I hearing feedback?
I'm getting feedback all of a sudden too. I don't know why. It looks like it's coming from. It's coming from Max's because it's green while you're talking. I don't know why I would do that.
Yeah, Max, you're getting feedback on you or something. Go to the Giants, I guess, just because they're at home.
Damn you. Damn you, Marley.
What?
I thought I could get one. I'm taking the Giants too, bro. I'm doing it.
Nah, you ain't getting one. The Vikings are dog meat, bro. Who they got?
Well, they're both dog meat, honestly. But I'm taking them as well. Max.
Yeah, I'm also gonna take I'm gonna take the Giants as well here. This is
Damn it.
This is the other game that nobody wants to freaking watch. I think this is gonna be the LSU show out game right here. I think we're gonna see Justin Jefferson have a big game. I think we're gonna see Malik Neighbors ball out today. I'm actually gonna take Malik Neighbors over his props today and a touchdown.
Ooh. 4 p.m. games. Raiders at the Chargers. Another division game. Chargers favored 3 over under 39.5.
I actually get to watch this game.
I think that over has actually moved a little bit in Pizzle. On mine is now showing 40.5.
All right.
I'll take the Chargers. Screw the Raiders. Can't stand them.
Yeah, give me the Chargers as well. I think we're about to see them run the football 40 times today.
Wow.
Even with Justin Everett. Nah, I'm just kidding. I do think they're going to run the football a lot, though. I think they're going to run a lot of play action off of that. I mean, that's just Jim Harbaugh's system. I mean, you look at Michigan, you look at his time in the 49ers, with Colin Kaepernick and other quarterbacks. He's just he likes to run the football. It's just what he loves to have a fullback in there, multiple tight end sets. It's just his game plan, and it works. I mean, his teams are always good. They're always competitive. The Raiders, it's more so just a quarterback thing. Like, they got Devontae Adams. They've got, Brock Bowers, who I think is going to have a good rookie season this year. They've got some other pieces as well. Max Crosby is phenomenal. But the Raiders they're like stuck in this sinkhole, man. You had a few years ago where you thought, man, a few more pieces and we're going to be really good, right? Like when they got Devontae Adams.
Yeah, exactly what I was going to say.
That the Raiders made, right? Everyone thought, oh, the Raiders are about to be really good. And even I did. I was like, oh, shoot, Derek Carr got a really good receiver now. They've improved the defense. Watch out for the Raiders. And then they just They got a lot of moves they need to make before I think they're going to really be competitive, especially in that division with the Chargers and the Chiefs and everyone else. I mean, it's going to be tough, but give me the Chargers here. I think they cover. Actually, there's a funny prop that I want to bet for this, and I want to make sure that there's even a line for it. The Chargers fullback, that 6'6", 6'5",
Yeah.
like 300-pound dude.
I doubt it.
I want to bet
but-
a touchdown today.
Oh
Let's
yeah,
bet a touchdown.
you can see Harbaugh doing that. We'll
I
look
could
that
see
up.
Harbaugh getting there in the red zone within the second and 1 yard line, 2 yard line, and he's just like, give it to the big fella. Just give it to him.
I think if we have time, I'll probably not have it in the actual VOD and like the podcast for Spotify. But at the end of the show every week, if we could start like a community lay, maybe we'll put something together, and I'll just throw it in mine. So I'm taking the Chargers as well.
I've been eyeing that one, man. I think that's just a cool little prop. Throw a little pizza money on it or something,
Sure.
I just want to see what the odds would be because, dude, he's a massive human being. And if they give him the football at like the 1 yard line going downhill, good freaking luck.
Broncos at Seahawks. Seahawks favored 6 points. I love this matchup that these two teams are getting to play each other because I think there's a lot of unknown from both teams, and I'm just very curious to see how these two teams match up. Over under 41.5. I'm taking the Seahawks though. Marley.
Yeah, I'm gonna take the Seahawks.
Yep.
Seahawks at home.
Yep, Seahawks at home as well. The 12th man there. They get really loud. It's a very good stadium, very good home environment. They've got the quarterback advantage in Geno. He's a veteran at this point. He knows that offense. He's going to run that offense. They've got way better receivers. I mean, the Broncos is starting a rookie quarterback with peanuts and chips at receiver. So, I mean, I don't think it's going to be a good – I think Sean Payton, like I said last show in the little rant I went on about the Broncos, I think Sean Payton is way over his head, and I think he miscalculated how much Drew Brees actually helped him in his offense and his career.
Yeah.
Because while he is a good offensive mind, and the Saints' offense was still pretty solid that year he left after Drew Brees, Sean Payton's last year there, but he walked into a boiling mess in the Broncos and talked a lot of shit about the previous coaching staff and what he would have done better, and they are still terrible. So, Sean Payton, you better hope you have a good season this year or next year, buddy, because you're going to start getting looked at like Bill Belichick was after Brady left and won the Super Bowl. You better hope you have a good team because all that shit you talked, you better be able to back it up.
I'm taking the Seahawks as well. I don't know if I said that or not. But moving on, I think this is going to be one of the games of the week. Commanders at Buccaneers. Buccaneers favored 3.5 points. Over under 42.5. I love the over. I think this game is going to be electric. It has potential to be a very electric game. But I'll start with you, Marley. Commies, Buccaneers.
I'm gonna go with the Commanders.
What's that?
The Commanders.
Okay.
I'm taking the Commanders. Travel on the road, get on into Tampa. So Jalen, yeah. Let's get it.
Max,
You know what?
you went back and forth on this game. I know you did because I did too.
I went back and forth big time on this game. I'm going to go with the Commanders.
Wow.
I'm going to go with the Commanders. And this is the reason, right? I feel like there's always a game every week, right, where there's a matchup or even if the line's close to where you still think, man, that team's probably better. That line seems a little, a little eh. 3.5. I feel like for the Commanders having a first-year quarterback, I know Dan Quinn, has been a head coach before and he's been around the league before, but he is a brand new staff. They have a brand new offensive staff, brand new coaching staff. The Buccaneers returned a lot of people. The Buccaneers defense is still pretty good. I know they lost Devin White, some other pieces, but they still have, Antoine Whitfield and all them other guys. I don't know. 3.5. I feel like maybe it would have been a little more, being as, like I said, the Commanders are on the road with a new coaching staff with a rookie quarterback.
It has moved. It has moved to 4 since.
I think we're gonna see Jaden Daniels, show some things today. I think we're gonna see him make mistakes as well, like most rookie quarterback do. I wouldn't be surprised if he throws an interception.
Sure.
But I don't think you're gonna see him being overwhelmed. I never saw him get overwhelmed in the 2 years he was at LSU. He always was cool, calm, collected. Even in multiple games where we're down a touchdown or down a field goal with less than a minute left, no timeouts, and we've got to drive 60 yards. I've seen him do it multiple times and never look nervous, never shake, never look into the sideline. Eyes is never big. He's just locked in. I mean, that's who Jaden Daniels is, man. He's just cool, calm, collected. So give me the Commanders. I think it's an upset. I think it's a very close game, but I think they make a play. I think Jaden Daniels makes a play, with his feet towards the end that maybe gets them a big first down, that gets them a field goal or keeps the drive going. Give me the Commanders here.
It only makes me nervous. I just can't get past the fact that they traded Jahan Dotson. I felt like, I know he's not like a Tyreek Hill or even Terry McLaurin's level, but I just feel like you're kind of taking a piece away from Daniels, and I think he's going to be able to make it work. And I really just hope the kid just, finds his way today and it's not under too much pressure. Like I said, I went back and forth on this game as well. I just think the Bucs are not proving only last year that they were capable of winning the division and then beating the Eagles. I think they're wanting to put themselves in the position where they're going to build off of that this season, which is why I picked the Buccaneers to win a division again this year. I don't think they're going to be a Super Bowl contender, but I think that they're going to show today why they are out to prove something this year. Give me the Buccaneers at home.
Hello.
Comes on to my game. Tom Brady's first call for this season as he starts his new career. The Cowboys travel to my Brownies here in Cleveland. Browns favored 2.5 points. Over under 40.5. Marley.
Well, I'm gonna take the Browns at home.
Wow.
Just saying.
Wow. Applause for you, sir. I should have talked about this game first before I gave it away. Look. There's a lot going into this game. The Cowboys are a fantastic, phenomenal regular season team. And I kind of really hate that we got them for this first game. But you know what? Like, fuck it. No, you're coming to our house. We have a lot to prove still. Let's just go in, for cliche, let's go see what happens. A lot of question marks on the offensive side of the ball. We know the defense is going to come out and bring it, hopefully. But I think that
That's what I think is going to make you guys. That's what I think is going to keep y'all in this game. It ain't going to be your offense. It ain't going to be none of that. It's going to be the dog pound coming in there and knocking. Because, like, honestly, all I got to do is shut down CeeDee Lamb, and you're fine. Well, that's not very difficult.
Yeah, the Cowboys have Zeke running the ball today and Dowdle as their running backs.
Yeah,
like, I'm just like, man, like, we got to, if they get their running game going, it's going to be a long day for Cleveland. I'll say that.
If the Dallas Cowboys can run on your ass with Ezekiel Elliott's, geriatric bullshit, then y'all gonna have a long ass season.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's gonna come down to, like, I think with Ken Dorsey, being offensive coordinator, I know Stefanski's gonna call plays, but I really think that they dialed up something that's gonna, get at least set up Watson to be in a good position. The rest is gonna be on him to go out and do it. All right. And he showed a lot of good things last year when he was healthy. And that's the other thing. You got to stay healthy too. So what can he do today to not try and either play hero ball and just play with the team and let your playmakers take over the game as well? Don't make your defense win this game for you. But go Browns. Let's go, baby. We've got the home game. Tom Brady, the national guys are here. Let's see what we can do. And I'm excited. Go Browns. Max.
Okay, so I finally found it. I pulled it back up. This is the Browns' home and away splits on defense.
Yep.
The Texans played the Browns in December of last year towards the end of the season, correct? And then they played them again in the wild card?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so these stats I have here, I remember when I found this.
Without CJ Stroud.
Yeah, this was the stats going into that game. So that was what, week
14, 15? Sounds
14,
about right.
15. So like, 2 or 3 games left. So these numbers probably changed a little bit throughout the last few games, right? But this, 14. So that was week 15. So through 14 games last year, these are the Cleveland Browns numbers through 14 games. So a really good sample size, a big sample size. But like I said, the numbers probably switched between the few games and the playoffs and everything. But this was a big eye opener to me, and I saved it last year. And I went this morning and double checked the numbers myself through everything. So the stats here are from StatMuse and excuse me, Football
It's all right.
Database. Yeah, I gotta get a new stand. Mine keeps messing up.
It's week one,
these are
everybody. It's week one. We're gonna have some fumbles.
Absolutely, it's gonna be tough. But this is from StatMuse and Football Database. Okay, this is a home and away splits. The Browns at home, 7-1 record, 2-4 away.
Mhm.
Their opponent's points per game at home was 13.1. Their points allowed on the road was 30.7. Their sacks per game was 3.6 at home, but only 1.8 on the road.
Yep.
They allowed only 135 passing yards a game at home, but 236 on the road.
Mm-hmm.
Their passing yards per attempt was only 4.5 at home, but they allowed 8.2 on the road. Now, big opponent completion percentage, not really a big deal. 52% at home, 58% on the road. But these other ones were pretty big. The opponent passing rating went from 60.6 at home to 90.2 on the road. Opponent rushing yards, teams went from averaging 87 yards a game to 122 yards a game against the Browns. Opponent rush per average, not a big jump, 3.7 to 4.1, but still a little worse. But opponent's total yards per game, rushing and passing, 222 at home compared to 358 on the road.
That is a gap.
So, for instance, the 13.1 points per game allowed at home was first in the NFL. But their away splits, which was 30.7, was dead last in the NFL.
That is crazy.
And that's similar with their yards per game. They only allowed 222.9 yards per game at home, which was first in the NFL. But they allowed 358 yards per game on the road, which would have been 24th in between Arizona and the New York Giants.
Wow.
So, like I said, those numbers probably changed a little bit between week 15, from 15, 16 to 17 and 18. But the Browns' defense was terrible on the road. I mean, it may not seem like it looking at it just from the eye test, but when you really broke it down, they was awful.
Yeah.
They're at home right now, right?
Yep.
They had really good home numbers. Like you said, the Cowboys seem to always be a pretty good regular season team. I think they've also been a really good season opener team the last few years as well. They've been very competitive. But I'm going to go with y'all. I'm going to take the Brownies at home here. I think all the distractions with CeeDee Lamb's contract, with Dak Prescott's contract, and the little bit of, injury thing he went through this offseason. He was at a walking boot at one point, if I'm not mistaken. And then you've got, what's your running game? You have Ezekiel Elliott, who's way past his prime. Dalvin Cook, who's way past his prime. I mean, if this was 2015, then you'd have two of the best running backs in the NFL, and you'd be like, what's going on? But this isn't 2015 no more.
Another thing I might add too, just real quick,
are they going to be able to run the football on the Browns effectively? I don't think so. I mean, unless they get super creative, unless the Browns defensive line is just parting like the Red Sea, I just don't see it. They're going to have to throw the football a lot to win this game. And not saying they can't, because CeeDee Lamb's really good, but the Browns defense is really, really good, especially at home. I just showed you what they did last year. Number 1, number 2, number 3 in the NFL in every statistical category at home. So, Browns at home.
Let's go,
really
baby.
Good defense, some drama, some stuff going on with the Cowboys in the offseason. Not really a true legit running game. Give me the Brownies at home here to cover.
Also, the Cowboys are starting at least one, if not two, rookie tackles today. But I'm curious to see Jack Conklin having to go over on the left side to match up against Micah Parsons, because DeJuan Jones is going to play. Jed Wills is going to be out for at least a week. So I'm very curious to see how all these matchups on the line of scrimmage work out as well. One final game for today. The Rams at the Lions, rematch of the playoff wildcard last season. Lions favored 4.5 points, over under 52.5. And a nail biter, give me the Lions. Marley.
Let's see. Give me the Lions.
Okay. Max.
Yeah, give me the Lions as well. They're at home here. You know, the Rams are going to be traveling on the road. You know, first game, going to be jitters for everybody, of course. But being at home, having your crowd back, and the stadium's going to be rocking. You don't have to travel far. Everything's routine and normal like you're used to. Give me the Lions at home here. I think they're going to cover the over under. That's
It's close. It's like right there, man. It's right
like
there.
right there, I think, because like both of these offenses, I mean, if Matthew Stafford's slinging that thing and Puka and Cooper Cup's doing their thing, they're going to put up points. And if obviously Jared Goff can sling that thing, you've got Jamison Williams, you've got Sam Laporta, Aaron St. Brown, you've got Jamar Gibbs, you've got all the weapons you need to
Montgomery.
also put up 30 points a game. I like this. I think this is going to be probably one of the funnest games this week. I think this is going to be a game that's going to show you a lot about these two teams right here. This is two playoff caliber teams going off week one. I think this is one of the better games. I think the one tomorrow is going to be an even more phenomenal game as well.
Well, let's get to that. Marley and I were talking pre-show, and I wanted to pick your brain on this to see like what we wanted to do, because I know we would pick the Monday night game. We would talk about it on the live show Sundays that we would do. Do you want to still continue to do that, or do you want to just make our picks like we do on the Thursday games, or we just wait until that day and at least maybe just talk about the game? What do you think?
Yeah. I'd say we continue to just kind of do what we do on the Monday and Thursday games. We just kind of talk about them and then make our picks. That morning we'll send them to each other in the group like we normally do.
Okay.
Because it's like you say, it's so hard. Like if we go ahead and pick this game, I say, oh, I want to take the Jets, and then it turns out tomorrow morning Aaron Rodgers has a fucking setback with his Achilles and he's going to miss this game.
Or gets arrested.
Well,
or
obviously
something.
I wouldn't have fucking picked the Jets if Aaron Rodgers is missing.
Right.
So I think you just keep it like that, right? As long as we get our picks in, before the kickoff starts, like we normally do, we'll keep riding like that. We're very good on keeping up with that and all that. And with that game.
Yeah, go ahead.
I'm leaning two things. I think it's going to be a phenomenal game. I think it's probably going to be more of a defensive game, even though both offensive has the chance to explode because of who they have.
Yep.
I will say at this moment, I'm leaning the 49ers, and there's multiple reasons why I'm leaning the 49ers. One, at home. The Jets are traveling from the East Coast all the way to the West Coast, crossing through multiple time zones. We always discuss that can be a problem or be an issue. It's not like super big, but it can be something. And then Aaron Rodgers coming off an Achilles injury. He's like 42 years old now. I mean, it's, how mobile is he going to be? Aaron Rodgers has never been like super dependent on his mobility, right? Like he's got the arm talent. He's going to throw the football. But that has been a big part of his game. Him being able to scramble around and run around in a circle 2 or 3 minutes while someone breaks open and he slings one halfway across his body 60 yards for a touchdown. I mean, that's just part of his game.
Right.
So how much of that is he going to be able to do? Is he going to be able to move around in the pocket like that? Is he going to be able to, slide step, move back to his left, falling away just to buy his receiver a 0.5 seconds to get open and make that throw? Like, how often is he going to be able to do that? And how often is the 49ers going to blitz him? Are they going to blitz him like crazy? Honestly, I would at first just to see. I know Aaron Rodgers, right? You're running risk blitzing him, and he can make that throw real quick. And, you got someone on a one-on-one matchup that they're not going to win. And they're going to, Garrett Wilson or someone's going to beat them and they're going to get a touchdown because you sent the house and left them one-on-one. But you've got to see. They're going to test his mobility. I promise you. They're going to see how much Aaron Rodgers can move around in that pocket. And I also think it's the 49ers. Aaron Rodgers sucks against the 49ers.
Yeah, going back to the playoffs.
49ers, they've smacked our ass with them.
That's perfect.
The little comments he made about I'll make them regret it, and he's never made them regret it one time. So all that pictured in is why I'm leading the 49ers, and just I think the 49ers all around are more talented. I mean, they got the quarterback. The Jets got a better quarterback. Receiving core playmakers. I'm going to go with the 49ers. Christian McCaffrey over Breece Hall. Give me Deebo Samuel and Brandon Ayuk over Garrett Wilson and Randall Cobb and
Mike Williams,
Allen Lazard, whoever else they have.
Right.
It's a tough game for me, man, because of those situations. And like I said, I like the Jets though. I really like the Jets to do really well this season, especially if Aaron Rodgers is healthy. I think they would have had a phenomenal season last year if Aaron Rodgers would have been healthy.
I could kind of model the Jets with like the Browns a little bit, like very, very solid defense, an opportunity to have one of the best defenses again in the NFL this year. A great running back. solid wide receiver, at least one, but the quarterback position is what's going to make or break their season too. So that's where I'm at with this game. I think it's, like you said, a very defensive heavy game. Might see a few nice plays break open, but it's gonna be a dogfight, and that's kind of where I'm at so far with this game.
Hey, I will say, probably one of the better Monday night games we've had in a while to start off week 1.
Yeah, man. And that's the other thing. We only get one Monday Night Football game, which I think I like too. Just give us one game, run it like you do every week of Monday Night Football, and let's get to work on watching these games. So,
Absolutely.
Marley, any final thoughts before we wrap up the show?
Nah, I think we got it. I hope it just. I hate seeing so everything that happened over the. Let me close this. Everything that happened already this week. I just hope it doesn't continue. With what happened to Jordan Love, and I hope everybody comes out of this week unscathed.
Yeah, man.
Injuries are a part of football. This just changed the entire. The NFC was already dog meat. Now, with him out, I don't know how this is going to affect that conference. It's going to be wild up there now. Like, you got to think the Bears legitimately have a chance to win that division now, or the Lions. So, I mean,
right.
It's going to be an interesting, cycle up there now. But let's hope everybody else can come out unscathed, fairly healthy.
Yeah.
We're all gonna live and die. We're living by the sword on a lot of our picks this week, fellas. We got a lot of close ones. Like, we're all picking the same teams.
Yeah, so we're all either gonna live
and,
together or die together. Absolutely.
Yeah, we're just gonna score this week, fellas, and
Love it.
Take the trash can over. Yeah, that was the Saints in the whatever game there. That was Panthers. Yeah.
Gentlemen, welcome to week 1. Welcome to week 1. Let's go, baby. Let's go, baby.
Look, I will say this is one thing I'm excited about about today being Sunday, the first Sunday back, is that my team's already played. I already had my heart broke. It's already sucks. But I get to enjoy football today and not have to be stressed. Now, obviously, my fantasy team's going to be playing, so I'm going to be freaking stressed about that. But I get to enjoy some good football today, man, and just get to watch it.
Yeah, man. Hope everybody has a wonderful day. Thank you for tuning in. We will talk to you all next week for week 2 of Peace of Mind Sports Podcast. Just to wrap up the show, a recap for our Survivor picks. Marley has the Cardinals. I have the Bills. Max has the Bengals. So, Marley, only one of us will be alive after today's Cardinals and Bills game. Let's go, baby.
I will say y'all are absolutely wild for that. Week 1, you both go opposite. So somebody's about to be eliminated week 1 of the season.
Love it.
I'm just saying, bro.
Love it. I'm just saying, bro.
I love it. I love the spiciness. I love the boldness. That's what this is all about, man. Hey, scared money don't make money.
Yeah. Exactly. Well, I said that to him at the blackjack table. I don't know how many times.
Quickly, my favorite bet of the week, if you have a boost, like I said, I took the Texans on the money line. They were minus 154 with my 100% boost on FanDuel. They're up to plus 130. So $7.50 gets me $17.25 if they win today. So go Texans. All right.
Go get some Antonios today.
Yes, sir. Get some Antonios today, baby. I love that saying.
Man,
Since
I'm
you started saying
our
it.
way to get you to UPS me some of that.
Hell yeah. All right, everybody. Have a wonderful day. Go watch some football. Go Browns. Let's go, baby.
Steelers,
go NFL.
Love it.
I don't have a team today, so go NFL.
Later, everybody. Peace out.